Good morning, everybody. Pastor Dave here. I'd like to go over what we talked about this last Sunday, and that's that God thinks about you. And we know that He cares about us. We know that He loves us. We know that He is thinking of us. But this is the one that I want to talk about, which is in Psalm 139:17. How precious to me are your thoughts, O God. How vast the sum of them. Were I to count them, they'd be like the grains of the sand. And when I awake, I'm still with you. God thinks of you all the time. And the things we talked about were pretty simple as far as just reminding ourselves of how much He thinks about us. You know that God never ignores you. Maybe other people will. Maybe you'll feel, disconnected, but you'll always feel connected with God. He wants to be with you. He loves you, and He's thinking about you all the time. He'll never forget you, okay? He may say, I'm going to cast your sins away as far as the east from the west. But as far as for Him, you're always on His mind, like the old Willie Nelson song. I hated that song, by the way, just so you know. Not a real country music guy. And then the third thing that we need to understand, not only does He not forget us, but He will never leave us. We see that throughout scriptures. You hear Moses talk about it. You hear Joshua talk about it. And we know this because Jesus even said, as He commissioned all the disciples to go out, He said, I'll always be with you. Now, this is what I want to make sure you do today, this week. This week, I want you to sit back, and as you're driving in your car, as you're driving your kids to school, whatever it may be today, that you would just pause for a moment. Obviously, keep your eyes open. Don't be praying with your eyes shut but when you're driving. But just pause for a moment in your own spirit. And I want you to think about how much God thinks about you. Be impressed that the God of the universe thinks about you as valuable, as important, and as someone that He never wants to forget. You know, I have 2 girls and 4 grandsons. Love them to death. And what's funny about it is they're always on my mind. You know, that whole Willie Nelson song of "You're Always on My Mind" is true for parents usually. We always think about our kids. Matter of fact, my mom, still to this day, my mom and dad still think about me as their oldest son, even though I'm in my mid-50s, but they think of me all the time. Matter of fact, I've been told as kids get older, the parents even think more about their children, caring, if things are going to go well with them. And what's interesting is now I have girls in their 30s and 20s, and guess what? Think about them all the time, hoping that they're going to be doing well, that they'll be connected with the Lord, that they'll have success in their life, because they affect grandchildren in the future as well, but also because they're my own kids. God created each one of us. He will never forget us. He will never ignore us, and He will never leave us. Think about that today, and then watch what the rest of the staff talks about the rest of this week, dealing with this subject of God is always thinking about you. Have a great day, guys. We'll see you later on.